Hello and welcome to RoboMonk Tarot Collective. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Today we are actually going to explore the Queen of Cups. We are exploring emotional depth at a mature level and that feminine energy of opening up to seeing what's actually inside or what's going on. And this is so important right now, and I'll get into it with the spirit-led reading that I received. But actually being able to be a savior to yourself and a savior to others. This is a calling, and Spirit is calling you to do that to yourself and to others around you. This could be a human, this could be an animal, this could be a plant. Whatever it is, there is an emotional connection to everything around you, and we are going to explore it today. So let's get into it. I'm looking at the reading over here, and we have the Queen of Cups, which is the theme. And then off to the left are the 8 cards that I divined from Spirit. All of these images have a story to tell that we'll get into a little later. But the Queen of Cups, I want to comment on the Queen of Cups. It's such an emotionally deep card. So we have the Queen of Cups, and this already has a flow to it because she is so connected with water. And with water, that means emotion, right? So she wears a cape of water. She is connected with her foot into the water. She has a throne of shells and also young children on the throne. She can be considered a motherly figure as well. But she's holding a chalice with 2 angels, and it kind of reminds me of the Ark, okay? The Ark of the Covenant with those angels on either side. But it also is a chalice that is closed. So a cup, a chalice that is closed. And this really harkens to emotional depth that is inward, okay? It's something that is hidden from the outside, and maybe even yourself can't see it yet. But she is looking at this with intent, and she is looking at this with wisdom and grace. And Spirit is saying we all need wisdom and grace right about now. And we all need to understand these emotions that we're going through, because even scientifically, they say 90% of what we do is guided by our subconscious. And with that in mind, if you don't have control over your emotions, then you may be going in a direction that you are unintentionally going in. So to be in command of all of that is going to be absolutely amazing. So let's see how to do that, okay? So, I don't know if you've ever been triggered before. I have, and it's not a good feeling. So when I say triggered, I mean the fact that there's an emotional response, typically negative, okay, where you have become, from an outside stimulus, whether that be what a person said or a movie you watched or anything like that, and it's going to be something that really hits you on the inside. It's something that really resonates, and almost like in a discordant way. And you think, oh, almost painful. Why is that? And then it passes, and then you may move on. But when things keep happening that way, it's time to see why that is. These first 2 cards on the top left, and then right next to it with that woman that looks joyous, right? She has growth in her hair. Everything's alive. Her aura is lit. You can see these are 2 opposites. This woman here is experiencing joy in the utmost. And it's almost like you feel the divine flowing through you. These are 2 emotions that are felt deeply. And I think a lot of us think of just negative emotions that are hidden down deep, but there are a lot of positive emotions hidden down deep too. So when we say do your shadow work, it doesn't necessarily mean look at all of the negative things that are going on in your life. No, we can look at all the positive things that are going on in your life as well. So that seems a little less scary, I know, but this Queen of Cups is reminding us about that. The positive and the negative of why things make us happy, why things trigger us. And when we take that maturity of that emotion and put it into our own lives and say, why am I so happy right now? Okay, I'll give you an example. So my father passed when I was 9. And some of you already know this. This was a while back when I shared this. And at that point, I was so young, I didn't really know what to feel. But I buried it down into my subconscious. And so every time I saw a father figure in music or movies, or another father figure that was in real life, I felt that trigger, right? I felt that emotional pang, that discordance in my heart. And I didn't know why. I was too young to even understand what it was. And so being able to grow up, understand, get that emotional maturity of what was happening. And then actually I was able to, through spirit, talk with him. It was an amazing, amazing experience. And so that, in and of itself, healed through that inner journey. And that's the kind of emotional maturity we're talking about with the Queen of Cups. This is someone that has mastered that. I'm not saying I have, but feeling those kind of feelings coming up, rising up again, or that joy rising up again and saying, wow, this really fills me with joy. Why is that? Why does this fill me with joy? Like reading for all of you fills me with joy. It really does. I feel like this is a part of why I am here, right? We are all multifaceted, meaning we have many roles to play in our lives. But this is one that I realized that this was me. That's how I look, like that woman with the leaves growing out of her hair and this aura about her. It's something that really lights me up. So to share this with you is absolutely amazing. So when we look into our lives and see why we are being triggered or why we are joyous, it's going to be that much richer of a life lived. This next card is the ocean, a sandbank, and the shore. And I had to come up with a diagram because there was no other way to show this. And the ocean, okay, is our emotions, maybe our subconscious, right? Subconscious are things that we are not aware of. Our conscious is the other 10% of things that we are aware of and we actually can take action on, right, day to day. But if the ocean is our emotions and our subconscious, and the sandbank is where we keep all of our different emotions and different experiences, okay? So the sandbank typically can be submerged under the water. You can't really see it, but it's right under the level, under the surface of the ocean. And so if that's the emotions right there of the ocean, and then the sandbank is right underneath it, that's where we keep all of our different experiences, like through childhood, through teenage, through young adult, through middle age, all of these different experiences. And they keep bubbling up to the surface. All right. They're going to sooner or later be washed to the shore. And Spirit is saying we can shore up those emotions, right? We can mend them. As they rise up to the shore, that's where we can heal them, right? Because the shoreline is actually our consciousness. It's when we are aware of it. And Spirit, when we are triggered or we have joy, is communicating to us through those different pain points or joyful points. This Queen of Cups has mastered all of this and knows about her inner self. and is calm and is willing and able to take on other beings' emotions. But before she could do that, she had to dig deep and understand herself. And that's why this next card we have an anglerfish. I've seen anglerfish in real life. They are quite frightening, but it's not attacking us. We are taking on this energy of the anglerfish. So the anglerfish lives really, really down, way down deep in the ocean. And that's why they have this bioluminescent little light coming from its forehead, which is just amazing. I think that spirit is amazing how these are all designed, these little creatures. And it has huge teeth as well to protect itself. Okay, so we are going to embody this anglerfish and have our little light to guide us through our different emotions, but also be protected as well. So we don't have to have fear when we go through these different emotions. We know that we are protected. Spirit is with us, guiding us with that little light and seeing what's down there, seeing what is actually controlling our actions. Why do we respond a certain way when we get some outside stimulus? Like, let's say someone calls you a name jokingly, but it really hurts, right? Why is that? Or why is it when you see a movie, you feel a certain way? Why is that, right? And all of that is buried deep down inside of us. So if we take on this anglerfish and look at certain emotions, it doesn't always have to be all at once, right? You can do it whenever you feel compelled, or you're really being at that trigger point or that joyous point. You're like, yes, I want to know why. Then we become masters of our own soul, of our own selves, of our own being, just like this Queen of Cups. Once we do that, and even as we are taking this trip, we can walk alongside other people that are taking this trip as well. Because everyone is at a different stage, a different depth in the ocean. Some are right at the surface. They don't understand what's going on, and nor have they had a chance to even think about it. Maybe you can introduce them to some of those thoughts. And others are diving down deeper, but they may be a little lost, right? Taking on this energy of the Queen of Cups, I had this really interesting image, and it's the bottom left. All of these different people are carrying around these conch shells. And these conch shells are their way of saying that they need help. It's their emotional way, right? So in different tribes, Pacific Islander tribes, anywhere around the ocean, these tribes have mastered turning these conch shells into instruments where if you blow on them in a certain way, they will make music, they will make sound. And think of it as a trumpet, as saying, I am expressing my emotion, I am in need of help. I am in need of understanding. I am in need of why I'm expressing this joy or this pain or this sadness. I am in need of guidance. And the Queen of Cups is also a master of that. She embodies counseling, healers, people that are really in depth with their knowledge, and people that are on that journey. So when you are here in this collective, just know that you are already on that journey. You have already started because you're here. I don't talk a lot about surface topics. It's just not who I am. I talk about deeper topics. And if you're here, then you like deeper topics as well, which is fantastic. And all of these different people are in need of your thoughts, okay? Of your vibes. Even just sending vibes like I do to you when you share your different comments. I send you truly genuine vibes of wanting to help you out where you are. Even doing that, since we are all connected, right? I feel that. I feel that vibe when I'm sending that out to you, and I feel that vibe when you're sending it back to me. It's an amazing feeling because we are all connected. And just think of all the people that you meet carrying around these little conch shells and sometimes saying, you know what, I need help. And that takes us to the next card, right? There's two divers sitting at the bottom of the ocean, just experiencing this together, sometimes just sitting together. And again, I remind you, this doesn't have to be a human, right? There are a lot of animals out there, and there are a lot of different beings out there that are in need of our spiritual help and emotional help. And we can be there for them at whatever level we are. Sometimes just sitting with that other being, that other person, animal, or plant, and just being there helps them. Because even talking to your plants helps them because of the carbon dioxide, that flow, it feeds them, right? And also your energy that you're projecting to them. All of that counts. It absolutely counts. And I think that's just a beautiful thing to remember. So when you're sitting with them, you may not feel like this Queen of Cups, like this master of emotion, nor do you have to. But you can just say, you know what? We're experiencing this life together. And that's good enough. That's good enough. Because you've had this time to be with them, to honor them, to honor their emotional journey as you go through this. The next card I see is one of an angel pulling this person out of a rough sea. And you may be that angel, or you may be that person. It depends on the time in your life. I've been rescued like that. I've rescued others like that. It really depends. We switch being the angel and the person over and over and over again. And that's okay, because we're all down here together and we are all connected. So the fact that we switch those roles is an awesome thing. It's a beautiful thing. But we're all mastering, like the Queen of Cups, that emotionality and helping each other and realizing when others need that time and honor, that wisdom and that grace. Maybe you've been through an experience that they've already been through, or they are just experiencing now. And if you've already been through that, then having that wisdom can share a little perspective on what they are going through. Doesn't mean like you have to tell them how to do it, but just honoring their emotions at that point in time and saying that you got through it is going to give them a lot of hope. Or meeting a person that's been through it and you're going through something. I know that's given me hope before too. The last image that I see is one of a person. They are standing on a rocky cliff with a torch at night, and they are guiding the ships in. I've had this image before in some of my pick-a cards, and it's a powerful one because this little light isn't as bright as the lighthouse, yeah? But this person is trying, and these ships in this dark night can see it. They would be able to see that torch and guide them to safety. They would go around where that sandbank is, yes? Because they have to avoid those sandbanks. So they might be able to avoid some of those experiences that you went through because you are telling them about it. And they say, oh, you know what? This person had this happen to them. Maybe I'm going to make a different choice at this crossroads. Maybe I'll go left when they went right because that happened to them, and maybe I'm not ready for that experience yet. I'm going to go left. And all of this ties together under the Queen of Cups. It's such an amazing card, and I love this card. And just know that we are all leveling up when we do this as a collective, as a community, as a universe. When we can share that knowledge with others and master our own emotionality and spirituality, we are all leveling up. And Spirit knows you can do it. I know you can do it. And we're going to manifest this together. We're going to be here for each other. We're going to do it together. And even just being in this reading together, we've all leveled up. So thank you so much for being here today. This one's truly, truly an amazing one. And I appreciate you. I appreciate all the community. And I'll see you next time.